What's going on, guys? It's Chris here, and today we're going to talk about the 80s this time. Yeah, this is probably my favorite decade for music when it comes to like music in general, not mainstream music, because 80s mainstream had it was a little generic. There's a bunch of people like to shit on the 80s for being generic, boring. I have a list of albums that I want you guys to listen to from the 80s that I think are 10 out of 10 records. By the way, I have some more 10 out of 10 records I want to talk about in this video because I really do think the 80s is jam packed. So instead of 5 records, I'll do you guys one better. I'll give you guys another record to talk about from the 80s if you guys really want one. Here we go. The record I'm going to talk about is Kate Bush's Hound of Love. Amazing record, 10 out of 10 record, art pop record. Inspired some of my favorite records of all time. Right here, inspired some of my favorite records of all time. Inspired like Spellings, recent record. My favorite song in here is Cloud Busting or Waking the Witch. Yeah, this is a quick one. I will put this one in the description too. Amazing 10 out of 10 record. Extra, such a bonus for you guys since I think the 80s is one of the greatest decades in music. And I honestly do think that I couldn't pick 5 records. Only that will be the only time you will see that. I really didn't want to put a bonus record, but like I felt like I had to, especially because I felt like I was fucking over so many records by just doing that. Alright, let's get started with the actual records that I picked. The 5 records that I picked. Yeah, let's get started. You guys may know this. I'm a big fan of hardcore punk, so I picked Plastic Surgery Disaster by Dead Kennedys. Yes, this is my favorite Dead Kennedys record. Easily better than their debut for just small reasons. Like I think this record's more cohesive with its lyrics. Has a lot more angst against the government, I would say. Like, okay, one of my favorite songs on here about like is Moon Over Maroon, which is about by pollution. We also have Government Flu, Terminal Preppy, Buzz Bomb, Halloween, We Know Bag of Warrior. So many great songs in here. Jello and Company, amazing. This is one of the greatest lineups of all time. Listen to this shit. Jello Biafra on vocals, East Bay Ray on guitar, Klaus Florite on bass guitar, one of the greatest bassists of all time, and D.H. Pedro on guitar and vocals. R.I.P. D.H. Rest in peace, D.H. He recently passed away, if you guys didn't know. But yeah, this is an amazing hardcore punk record. Honestly, this is probably my favorite hardcore punk record. There's lyrics in the sleeves. There's this. Also, I heard a fucking funny ass joke saying that Jello sounds like SpongeBob. I kind of think it's hilarious. He kind of does something so like we gonna try that on you, like that type of. That's like his type of voice. It is hard. It has to get you have to get used to it. Honestly, this is my first ever punk band that I listened to, and ever since I listened to these guys, I've been in love with just punk music in general. Thanks to this record. Yeah, I really have nothing else to say besides love this record. Also, fun fact: this is actually a picture taken in I don't know, I forgot which country it was. It was taken in 1980. This is a starving kid's hand, by the way. I was fucked up and thought it was an alien hand. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up of me, but alright. Next up, we got Public Enemy. Um, Public Enemy Takes a Nation of Millions. This is an amazing record. I mean, I really cannot say much besides amazing record. 10 out of 10 record. Bring the Noise is an amazing record. Rebel One Appalls. Prophets of Rage. There's so many great songs on here. This is a classic 80s record. Chuck D on rapping. Amazing, amazing, amazing rapper. You got Flavor Flav as the fucking hype man. Amazing ass hype man. And then you had production from the Bomb Squad. They're bound to make a perfect record. Yeah, they fucking did. They did. They made a perfect record. Surprise, surprise, surprise. This is one of my favorite hip hop records of all time. Probably in my top 10. All of these records so far have been clear. Standard black. This came out in 1988. Plastic Surgery Disasters came out in 82. The Hounds of Love came out in 84. Yeah, amazing record. 10 out of 10 record. Yeah. Now let's move on. I want to get into these quick because I want to give another one of the extra records towards the end. All right. This one, I think it grew a little bit on me because of the fact that I've seen the band live. The same day I got this record, and not only that, it was an awesome experience. This is not an underground band or something. This is the fucking Misfits. This album to me is just amazing. This is only 14 minutes long. It's actually a 45. I've had to put my record player on 45 to play this. This is such an amazing record, man. Such an amazing record. Honestly, like this record is one of my personal favorites, and this is a record I hold very close to me, mainly because I did get to see the band live. It was my favorite live show I've seen, and that day was so amazing. Yeah, I got this record the day after, and that's actually when I went to see Nine Inch Nails. It was during the Riot Fest thing. Yeah, after that I went to see Nine Inch Nails. They were pretty good too. They're pretty great. But yeah, this is so fucking good. I also seen My Chemical Romance, which was also, they're one of my favorite bands. I may or may not mention them in a later one of these videos. But yeah, this record is so great. Honestly, this is a 10. My favorite song on here is probably Green Hell or RFAD. There's also Wolf's Blood, Double Lock, Death Comes Ripping, Hellhound, Bloodfest. I just named every song on the album, just not in the correct order. Yeah, there's not many songs on here. This is not a big album. It's literally 14 minutes long, like I said. It's really short. Really, like it's just there to fuck you up in the head and to dip. Alright, before we get into the last two big albums, I want to give another extra shout out to another record. Not the record here that you guys were thinking about, which is an amazing record. I want to give a shout out to this amazing son of a bitch right here. Prince, Purple Rain. My favorite song is Computer Blue. The guitar, the solo is one of the greatest solos of all time. I want to give that album a quick shout out, and it will be in the description too, because it's one of my favorite albums of the 80s. I just couldn't find any ample room to fully explain how much I love it. So yeah, I'll give that one a shout out too. And we're gonna move on. Computer Blue. Listen to Computer Blue. One of the greatest guitar solos of all time. Alright, let's move on. Remaining Light. I mean, this is also a pretty obvious album. I think this is like just like Purple Rain, just like freaking Public Enemy, just like Kate Bush. This is like an obvious record to pick, but like it should be noted that this is a amazing record. This is probably one of my favorite post-punk records of all time. In the top 3, I'd say. There's amazing songs in here like, Listening Wind, Once in a Lifetime, Born in the Punches, like that's so amazing. The Afrobeat influence, David and Company were going crazy. There's like the inverted art right here. Got this one for my birthday. My birthday was like 6 months ago. It's an amazing fucking record, bro. Amazing record. This band really did impress me with this record. I honestly, this is one of the most impressive records I've ever listened to. Like, if you guys like new wave, if you guys like post-punk, if you guys like Afrobeat, if you guys love anything, like, you just listen to this shit. This is like one of the first albums you should get into from the 80s. Honestly, I really can't say much good about it that hasn't been said online, but there is a record I could say a lot of good things about, and I'm going to spend like 10 minutes explaining why this is one of the greatest records of all time. This is, as much as I said about Wire, remember how I was talking about Wire in the last video? Yeah, I think this record is a lot better than that record, and you know how much it's praised. This is one of my favorite records of all time. This is probably my favorite record of all time. If I had to really pick this is been by my favorite band of all time. I hope Clint Conley is seeing this. If you liked a couple of my tweets, Conley, and I'm about to really shout out your band right now, because of how fucking great you guys are, especially back in the 80s. Mission of Burma versus this is an amazing, perfect album. I really can't say much about it. I played the song on here in the beginning. It was the Ballad of Johnny Burma. I didn't play it too rough because it's like fucking 3 a.m. when I'm recording this. But there's some amazing post-punk songs on here. This is post-punk. I'd say this is the album that started post-hardcore. As much as like a bunch of people don't think so. I think Mission to Burma was the first ever post-hardcore band. Yes, before Fugazi and Big Black and Husker Du. I think this is the before. Pretty sure Husker Du and Big Black and all of them were actually inspired by Mission to Burma. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I'm pretty sure all those bands were inspired by Mission to Burma. So it's kind of weird that they ain't getting their credit. They're not getting their credit. This is a fucking amazing record. Standard Black. This is a pretty thin record. Pretty sure this is a repressing. My favorite song on here. Oh, well, I do have a lot of favorites on this album. Would either be "That's How I Escape My Certain Fate" or "Secrets." And there's so many other amazing songs in here, like Train, Trem 2, New Nails, Deadpool, Learn How, Micah, Weatherbox, Ballad of Johnny Burma, Epstein A, Fun World, and yeah, again, That's How I Escape My Certain Fate. I named every single fucking song on this album, but there's a reason why I love this album so much. Martin Swoop on the tape, he looped. Martin Swoop, he used to loop the tapes on here, so it'd be like, you could play like multiple guitar parts at the same time. It's something badass as fuck. Conley on bass and vocals. He played some of my favorite songs like on this album, like That's How I Escape My Certain Fate and Train. He did the vocals on those. Roger Miller, of course, he did Secrets, songs like Secrets and Ballad of Johnny Burma. Peter Piscott on drums, amazing drummer. And he also did a song on this album, which was Learn How. He did Learn How. Yeah, the producer. This is an amazing fucking record. Can't say much about it. I haven't talked about. But like, holy shit! Check this record out. Check this record out. Check this record out. This is the epitome of like I think a perfect record should sound like. It's some beautiful in some moments. It's batshit insane in other moments. It really is an experience of an album that I feel like it's like no other. It recently hit its 40th anniversary because this came out in '82, and honestly, I think this record isn't talked about enough. Honestly, especially because how good quality this record is. Let me put it back in the sleeve that I put it in before I end up doing something stupid. But no, this record is such good quality for it not to be talked about as much as some of the other records I'm listing here is fucking criminal. No, this isn't the right sleeve. Okay. Oh, this is the thickest one. This record is criminally underrated. Honestly, I do think this is one of the greatest records of all time. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Those are my 10 out of 10s. These are my 10 out of 10s. Yeah, I'll leave you with that. See you guys in the next video. And yeah, 80s, 10s, I'm out.